Trey, you want to get us going?
Yeah, Coach, just in general, how have the first 4 days been, and anybody making big strides that we saw in the spring?
I think it's been going well. I think we have a really intelligent group that is intentional and detailed with everything they do. I'll probably say it's probably the smartest group and collective, the whole group together, how well they work together, I've been around, right? And I don't know if it's smart is the correct word. I think it's the way they gel in the communication. This group has been tremendously impressive. Guys that stood out from a safety perspective. So older guys, you talk in terms of Kamari House, Christian Harrison, Miguel Mitchell, Kima Glore has been having good days. So from an older guy standpoint, some of the young sparks in a safety room that's been showing up. Song Ginyu. All right, got that. Got it. Song Ginyu. He's been showing up really well. One guy, we talked a little bit about him in the spring. Tay Lockett. He's still on the string. He's still doing well. He's impressive. The kid is different. Think he has a bright future here with the Razorbacks.
Yeah, your opinions, same questions.
Yeah, same. Lakai Rowland, Joker Johnson, Shelton Lewis, older guys who played a lot of football. They've done a great job. And like Coach said, like this group, man, they gel together. The camaraderie is there. They hang out with each other away from the building, and they talk football outside of the building. You know what I mean? So like they love football, and they love being around us. They love being around the coaches, and taking all the information in that they need to take for us to be successful.
I know there's obviously a lot of competition. We see Joker go out there quite a bit with the first group. And we've seen Shelton going out there a lot. And in the spring, I felt like it was maybe more like Lakai Rowland. Like, how intense is that battle with those three guys just for getting on the field?
Yeah, I mean, those guys, look, they hang out together. It's a great friendly competition, you know what I mean? Like, we're a positionless, group. And all those guys just look forward to, continue to work hard. So it's a pretty good competition amongst all those guys. Coach, you want to add?
What did you guys see in House that he maybe played linebacker mostly at North Carolina to put him where he is, and what have you seen as for progression from spring?
So when we are evaluating players, we look for player comps that was in the system before. All right, so there was a guy named Jalen Petrie that Coach Roberts coached at Baylor, who was similar, who played linebacker in high school but had defensive back movements. And when Coach Roberts was recruiting him out of high school, he always talked about him. And then when he hit the transfer portal, it was like initially we talked linebacker, it's like, hey, Coach, he was pushing for him to play DB. And I think the old gray head man, he was correct. He's a pretty good player in the secondary. So he has all of the traits, the attributes, along with the linebacker mentality to strike and hit.
And today we saw him make a couple plays on that compete stuff on the edge. Couple picks. What have you made of how he has responded in this camp?
I think he is the energy, the heartbeat. As he go, we have a couple guys in this matter, but he's one of the guys as he go, the secondary goes, right? Because he brings the physicality and the mindset to the secondary, for the secondary.
Yeah, and on Shelton Lewis, it looks like he's kind of been with the first group through camp. What did he do to elevate in summertime to impress you guys to run out there with the ones this time around?
Yeah, he also, I mean, he got quite an amount of few reps, to start off also in the spring. I try my best to, just continue to rotate those guys and, whoever had a hot hand may continue to get reps, but for us it's like not even who goes out there first, I tell them it's about who gonna finish the game, you know what I mean? So like, and who's continue to make those plays. But I think all three of those guys are doing a great job in making plays for us, you know what I mean? So it's just, day to day, I don't know, tomorrow it may be Sheldon and Lakai going out there first, you know what I mean? Just to keep each other, to keep the thing going. We got a deal called the stock market, and you go up, you go down, it's on hold, so it just depends on how we feel the day is going.
Yeah, and you got Braden Lee, who wasn't available as much in spring. What have you made of his progress? And is there a fourth guy, fifth guy in your spots?
Yeah, no, B. Lee is doing a great job. Like you said, not a ton of reps in the spring, but I love where he is. He's done a great job over the spring. Like, he had an unbelievable summer. I mean, he had an unbelievable summer to put himself back in a great position. And he's came back. He's making plays. He's continuing to learn the defense and learn some of the techniques and go through some of those techniques of some of the things that he did miss in the spring. But he's doing a great job of putting himself amongst the top guys as well.
Coach Wilson, you talked about the intelligence of this group. Ron Roberts said the same thing, said it was one of the smarter groups that he's worked with. Is that something you kind of expected based on the kind of guys you recruited, or was it a little bit of a surprise? You got to wait and see.
I think it was the guys who recruited. I think in the recruiting process, there's the athletic evaluation, right, and have the intangibles that you need, all right, to be an elite football player. And I tell guys this all the time, like, the guys that make plays in the NFL, they're not dumb jocks, right? These dudes are intelligent, and they know it's about to happen before it's about to happen, right? And and one's not up here, even with Coach CJ, right? He plays a big part in that. I've never been around a bunch of guys that, from a voluntary meet standpoint, they call coaches to meet. Like, we could walk through the building and they're hanging out in the office and we're going to football, right? They're football junkies. And when you're in the recruiting process, in that small window that you have in the portal, you got to figure that out in 3 days, right? And most of the time you figure it out when they're on the official visit and through phone conversation, how much they love football. And if you love football, you're going to put as much effort as you're supposed to and can into putting yourself in position to be a successful player.
Coach Roberts has also talked about, with Miguel Mitchell specifically, just needing to kind of rebuild some confidence with him and trying to help him, play a little bit more free. How do you work on that, and have you seen him make strides in his offseason?
I think that he's made a bunch of strides. He's unique. Had him at Florida the first time I was at Florida. Then he came here to Arkansas. Then he came back to Arkansas, and he was here. And just watching the development of the body, right? I think that's one thing that helps him from a mindset standpoint. He's about 223 pounds full of muscle, right? And I think that comes into play. And this coaches, right, between myself, Coach CJ, staying on him about every chance you get from a physicality standpoint, and it's building confidence, and he is playing physical right now.
With Joker, obviously one of the highly rated guys out of the portal, a guy you guys identified to come be maybe a potential number one cornerback. Is he a guy that can maybe lock down a side of the field, be that type of, I'm going to take the number one wide receiver away for a game? Or is this going to be a secondary that's kind of, more multiple and just not, maybe it doesn't have that much of a one-on-one kind of thing with Joker there?
So I think it's game to game, right? So some games we may be field boundary, some games we may be left right, some games it may be matchup. We may have a bigger corner versus a bigger receiver, right? And we want that matchup. We may have a smaller corner versus a smaller receiver. So if we look for those matchups, it's game to game. It's not specific, right? It's not as specific, but we're looking for things. How can we best benefit ourselves to put ourselves in a situation to win a game, right? And play well on defense.
Lakai's physicality has kind of stood out just watching him in practice. Is that something you guys identified? Or just maybe a surprise? I mean, how big can physicality maybe be for a cornerback in this league?
Oh, it's huge. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big league, and you got to have that attribute. That's one of the things that he did have, on his tape, and we knew he had it. He's long, he's athletic, he's physical, and he has all the traits to be an elite dude in his league.
When you talk about looking at film and talking to guys to try and sense that football IQ, I mean, what stands out on the film? Because you can't hear their communication or anything. How do you see and identify that a defensive back maybe has that football IQ as intelligent as you guys are talking about right now when you assess the film?
One, I think you can see it on film because you see instincts on film, right? And when you see someone pull their trigger or you see a coverage, right, there's all sorts of different websites out there that you can look at. Oh, this is cover 3. Oh, this is what he was playing, right? And then once you get them on campus, we have a football meeting, right? A position meeting that we have with them, with position coach, with coordinator, and you see how in tune they are with the meeting. They have some guys you bring on campus, they're slouched over, they're pulling at their hair, they're doing those type of things. They're not football guys. We want the guys that when we get to the football meeting and we get to a position meeting, they lean over and they start to salivate about playing football, right? Those are typically your intelligent guys because they put more effort into it.
And to add to that, you start having those conversations and you see the personality come out. You know what I mean? You see them smiling about it and continue to go at it. So that's another big thing, like personality.
Has it surprised either one of you guys how much these dudes love to hit?
Hasn't surprised me at all.
No. The standard, that's the standard. And the standard is the standard.
You know, last year it just seemed like it was a huge problem here with not being physical. When you talk to the guys that were here last year, what has changed about the mentality between then and now?
I'm being completely honest, we really, because I want to say about 70% of the roster is new players. We really don't talk about last year. You know what I mean? We talk Coach Silverfield, one of his big things is talking about now, right? So we talk about doing stuff now, but it's 70% of the roster, and I'm not sure if I had a conversation with one guy about the past.
I mean, going not to harp back on last year, but I mean they weren't exactly able to generate a whole lot of interceptions, turnovers, and that sort of thing. Have you gotten the indication just kind of through the first week or so of camp that you guys are going to be able to force more turnovers?
I think we do a lot of ball drills and we do catch the ball well.
And then going back to Miguel, I mean he's older guy. How have you seen him step up as a leader in the locker room?
Miguel is one of the unique guys because he's been in his system, a similar system, although he didn't play for Coach Roberts. He's been in a similar system before, right? So, and it's a lot of conversation recall. He was intelligent as a true freshman when I had a chance to coach him, and he's still intelligent now. That's why he played as a true freshman. But he's a guy that could help the communication on the field, which he does, play to play, and he's being more vocal now. In the past, he would know things, and he would keep the information to himself. Now, I think one of our sayings that we have, communication is what do I know? What do I know? Who needs to know? And did I tell him? Right? That's when we talk in terms of communication.
I think Miguel's the only scholarship guy back in the secondary, so not a lot to talk to, I guess, about last year. But I'm wondering, like, when you guys are building this secondary, like, what is if you could take us behind the scenes a little bit and give us some insight, like the conversations you have with Geiska on stuff like that, or do you guys even communicate with him, like how you're putting your board together and all that stuff, and how much you want this guy, because everybody's got a price.
Yeah, we do communicate with Geiska. And I think that's probably recruiting board talk right there. But it's effective communication. And we, between our GM, our head coach, and the defensive coordinator, we are all on the same page, along with position groups, right? And Coach Hicks got this saying right here, being on the same page in the same book. You know what I mean? So I think we are all on the same track when they talk about what we're looking for a recruiting standpoint.
I've talked to Geiska a couple of times. He's a fast talker. It seems like he's got his stuff in order. What are you guys' impressions of him as a GM?
He's really good at his job. He's organized, and his group do a really good job of evaluating as well.
Agreed, 1,000%. Like he loves it. You know what I mean? He's great to be around, organized, and the group of guys that he have with him and working with him does a great job on a day-to-day basis to help us in that area.
Is it challenging for you guys? I mean, because you recruit somebody and the prices change and all this kind of stuff with NIL and all that kind of stuff, and just you build a relationship with somebody and you might not have what you need to get them and stuff like that. How frustrating can that be?
As position coaches, being honest, it's just like, even though it's not public knowledge and it don't get put on ESPN how much a person is making, as position coaches, we don't even know how much each player make, right? We're not involved with those conversations. And truthfully, I don't want to be involved with those conversations.
Yeah, it seems like it would be difficult to have relationships with players when you're also talking about.
I know that's a good thing about the position coach not being involved in the conversation.
That's fine, Jeff.
Tay Lockett's a guy that you mentioned, and Chad was in here talking about him as a punt returner, maybe just like his skills with the ball in his hands. I mean, how valuable is that even on the defensive side, just to have someone that's like that athletic and can potentially score when he does get the ball in his hands?
I always tell this to Coach Hicks: playmakers make plays, right? Their whole life. The kids the players that make plays, whether it's in college, whether it's in high school, the same thing that he did in college, in high school, he would do now, right? Now, obviously, it's at a different level because the talent level has went up. He's younger, they're stronger and bigger at this point, right? But he's a kid, a young man, not a kid, a young man that does make plays. He has ball skills. He has some wiggle. And in a secondary, we want playmakers, right? Playmakers that's doing the right thing.
Great job, fellas. Appreciate it.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You all right? Yeah, I'm good. Oh, shoot.